Imagine a cosmic dance where everything that exists, light and shadow, love and hate, inspiration and fear, is orchestrated by a single universal truth. Today we will explore that truth, the law of polarity. Get ready to dive deeply into the fourth Hermetic principle and uncover how it shapes the visible and invisible universe around us. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This quote from the Kybalion forms the foundation of the law of polarity, the fourth Hermetic principle. This law reveals that everything that exists is interconnected through opposing poles, hot and cold, light and darkness, good and evil, positive and negative. These opposites are not enemies locked in eternal conflict. They are complementary, like two forces of the same current, coexisting to create balance and motion. This law is deeply rooted in the structure of the universe. But the law of polarity extends far beyond the physical realm. It operates in our thoughts, emotions, and daily experiences. For example, have you noticed how happiness can only be understood after experiencing sadness? These extremes are two sides of the same emotional coin. In the spiritual journey, the same principle applies. What we call light could not be identified without shadow. Opposites not only coexist, but depend on each other to make sense. The universe is a dance of complementary forces. Thus, understanding the law of polarity is essential to comprehending yourself and the world around you. It invites us to see reality not as a battlefield of extremes, but as a cosmic fabric, where each polarity contributes to creation and universal harmony. Instead of choosing sides, we can learn to navigate between them, finding balance within the dual flow of the universe. And how do we navigate these poles? Through the law of vibration. But we'll get to that. The law of polarity is not merely an abstract theory. It permeates every aspect of our lives, shaping experiences, emotions, and even the simplest, most mundane processes. When preparing a meal, for instance, we apply heat to raw, cold food. This interaction between extremes, heat, positive, and cold, negative, results in something new, food ready to be consumed. Without this polarity, transformation could not occur. It is the balance of temperatures that ensures ideal cooking, neither too burned nor too raw. Polarity also reveals itself in social and political forces. In any political system, there are opposing ideas, conservatism and progressivism, right and left. While they may seem to conflict, these forces are complementary. Both are necessary to balance society, provoking change while ensuring stability. When one ideology dominates entirely, the system becomes rigid or chaotic. The interaction of extremes creates dialogue and, ideally, progress. In the end, everything is part of a single spectrum. The law of polarity manifests powerfully in the realm of human emotions, where we find not only contrasts, but an intricate relationship between opposites that shape our deepest feelings. Love is expansive. It dissolves barriers, connects us, and makes us feel aligned with something greater than ourselves. Fear, its opposite polarity, is contractive. It distances us, creates barriers, and drives actions based on instincts of protection or survival. These two polarities are the foundation of all creation. The ultimate alchemy is the transmutation from one polarity to the other, moving from extreme fear to unconditional love. This is the union with the divine. If love and fear are opposing forces that expand and contract our perception, hatred and passion are poles of energy manifesting in emotional intensity. Both carry fire. They are overwhelming feelings that either move us towards something or repel us with great force. Hatred arises as an intense response, a destructive force that rejects and seeks to eliminate the object of feeling. Passion, on the other hand, is equally intense but constructive. It drives us to create, connect, and explore. Both poles are interconnected. Human emotions are not static. They flow from one pole to the other, like a pendulum. The law of polarity teaches us that recognizing this oscillation is the first step toward transforming our emotional states. Polarity is expressed in the very essence of existence. Life can only be understood because death exists, and vice versa. The leaves of a tree fall in autumn to nourish the soil in winter, allowing life to be reborn in spring. These cycles are a constant reminder of the dance between opposing poles occurring all the time. Even the simplest decisions we make reflect the law of polarity. Every choice implies renouncing an alternative. For example, by choosing to wake up early to meditate, you forgo the comfort of sleeping longer. By opting for a spiritual path, you distance yourself from the superficiality of material life. These choices are the practical manifestation of opposites working together. There is no absolute right or wrong, only the dynamic balance between polarities that you choose to live. The foundation of all matter in the universe is the atom, and its very existence is a perfect manifestation of polarity. Protons, positive charge. Located in the atom's nucleus, they represent the centralizing force that holds the structure together. Electrons, negative charge. Orbiting around the nucleus, they are dynamic forces, generating motion and energy. These opposites interact to create stability. Without this electrical polarity, atoms could not form molecules, and matter as we know it would cease to exist. The force of attraction between protons and electrons is not merely functional, but is also responsible for structuring everything, from the oxygen we breathe to the stars in the cosmos. In essence, everything that exists in the manifested universe is energy oscillating between two polarities through the law of vibration. The law of vibration determines where this energy falls on the spectrum, and consequently, its characteristics. One of the most fascinating examples of this polarity lies in electromagnetic waves, the foundation for technologies such as radio, television, the internet, and even our biological systems. Electromagnetic waves are vibrations that travel through space carrying energy. They are composed of two fields oscillating in opposing poles, the electric field, positive and negative, the magnetic field, north and south. These fields are in constant motion, creating an interaction that propels the wave forward. It is the polarity between these fields that allows energy to travel, carrying signals from one point to another, whether through light, heat, or data transmissions. The light we see is an electromagnetic wave, just like the radio signals or Wi-Fi we use daily. What differentiates one from the other is frequency and wavelength, both manifestations of the law of vibration, intrinsically connected to polarity. We live in a world connected by invisible networks, all based on electromagnetic waves. The duality between the electric and magnetic fields is the engine that sustains this entire technological infrastructure. When you use your smartphone or computer, electromagnetic signals are constantly being sent and received. Satellites orbiting Earth operate on the same principles to transmit radio, TV, and GPS signals. Even the electricity powering our devices is a direct manifestation of polarity, constantly alternating between positive and negative charges in what we call alternating current, AC. This continuous cycle enables the efficient transmission of energy. The law of polarity, in harmony with the law of vibration, is a powerful key to the conscious creation of reality. While polarity reveals the two extremes of a spectrum of possibilities, vibration is the driving force oscillating between those poles. When we understand how these laws operate together, we gain the ability to shape our lives consciously, aligned with universal forces. Polarity presents the extremes, hot and cold, love and fear, light and shadow. Vibration, on the other hand, is the continuous movement between these extremes. Take temperature, for instance. Hot and cold are not isolated qualities. They are merely names we give to represent two opposite points on the same spectrum, temperature. By increasing or decreasing vibration, you can transform cold into heat and vice versa, effectively navigating along this spectrum. This logic can be applied to any situation. Imagine you are facing financial difficulties. Instead of focusing on what is lacking, complaining, and adopting a victim mindset, vibrating at the frequency of scarcity, the lower part of the spectrum, you can deliberately practice gratitude for what you already have, and visualize prosperity as a present reality. By intentionally adjusting your vibration to the frequency of abundance, higher part of the spectrum, you naturally attract opportunities aligned with the pole of prosperity. Think this is nonsense? Give it a try. The alchemist's laboratory is their own mind. Conduct the experiments for yourself, and then decide, based on your own experience, if this is not how reality truly works. As Heraclitus once said, struggle is the mother of all things. The dialectic between opposites creates movement, growth, and evolution. There is no progress without opposition, no evolution without challenge. Life, with all its polarities, is an expression of this eternal truth. The key to true wisdom lies in understanding the necessity of opposites, while simultaneously transcending the idea of separation. Rather than rejecting or battling one pole, we must learn to integrate both sides within ourselves. The true alchemy of the soul is the ability to navigate these contrasts. When you face a challenge or a difficult situation, instead of focusing solely on the problem, the negative pole, you can choose to see the lesson or opportunity it presents, the positive pole. This transforms adversity into fertile ground for growth and learning. Every moment of our lives offers the opportunity to experience polarity. It is present in our relationships, our emotions, our choices, and even in the small, everyday decisions. However, true transformation occurs when we realize that we are not at the mercy of these opposites, but are co-creators of our reality. By becoming aware that everything has two polarities, we can use this as a tool to move toward growth. True freedom comes when we understand that we are more than the poles we experience. We are the consciousness behind the polarity, capable of choosing which side to align with, thus shaping our reality. What are you creating in your life today? Are you choosing to feed fear or love? Thank you for watching.